Back to the tip test on the sanrenmu. Ran out of a little bit of time. The blade is still bent. I have not sharpened this again, and it is still pretty good on that blade, as you can see. I'm going to use the curve or the small portion of this too, and I'm barely cutting there. Still sharp. Back to the tip test. See if we can get that tip to break or bend a little bit further. Let's go the other way. I want you to see, I wish you guys could see the hole that I'm just pulling out of this now. I'll give you guys a look in here in a little bit. That locking system is definitely not moving. A little hard to hold on to, like I said before. I don't really like the size of this knife, but for how much I paid for it, it is just an amazing little knife. I mean, I've already dug down about a ½ inch at the most. You can see, I mean, I've really buried it in there. For this little knife, for how much I paid for it, it's just doing amazing. That's just completely surprising to me that this knife has taken that much abuse. Oh, there we go. Snap the tip. They want the tip on that one. And just to let you know, this tip is really thin. This blade is very thin from the beginning. Let's see if we can get the tip out of there. Oh man, it looks like it's buried in there pretty good. Let me see if I can get that tip out of there. This is my cheaper than dirt knife that I cleaned up a little bit and got all that nasty paint that they put on those things. There's the tip right there. That thing, it probably chipped off about a ½ inch. I'll show it to you guys here once I can get it. These gloves aren't really helping. Take this glove off. I don't know how well you guys can see it there, but about a ½ inch off that tip. And I really beat the crap out of that tip right there. And I've already done a tip test on this. I dug about, I would say, a little over a ½ inch into this plywood, or this 2x4, and I bent that tip pretty good, at a pretty good degree. Blade, I mean, I wouldn't want a tip to break like that, but for how thin it is and how much I put it through, I expected it to break a lot earlier, and it did pretty well. But let's see what we can do on see how it does. And I do the cardboard test because I don't expect knives to cut through paper. When you just hold a piece of paper, and I'll show you. I have pieces of paper here that this knife will cut through, but I don't like the paper test because, whoops, it's just not practical to me. I'm more of a practical type of guy. This paper's not working very well, but I'm more of a practical type of guy, and I think that cutting paper is just not what you're supposed to do. There we go. Here's a better piece of paper. Yeah, this knife can cut through paper, but what does that do for me? Do you have a knife to cut paper? No. I can do that with paper, okay? We have a knife because cardboard is a little bit harder to cut, and if you want to make some precision cuts, open up a box without ripping it open, yeah, this knife is going to do great. This knife is going to do fantastic, and so is the ganzo. This ganzo is not going to, no box ain't going to stop it. And like I said before, I have not sharpened these knives whatsoever. But I expected that tip to fail, and I wanted that tip to fail. That's the reason why I did that test. It's a great little knife, and that I honestly expected that hole from the tip bending. I expected that locking system right here to bend, because when I was doing it, the actual handle was bending too. I expected it to break in here somewhere, but that tip broke, and it did pretty good in the meantime. That clip is still really good. The locking system still works on it. Still cuts like I showed you guys. It's a great little knife. I'm going to show you some, this is some aircraft wire this is 3 shielded wires inside of a shielding, a plastic or rubber shielding, inside of a grounded shielding, and inside of another shielding. And this knife is just great at cutting it. I don't expect this knife to like slice through it because it's so small, but it definitely cuts through it. Definitely cuts through that wire. Now the ganzo, I can actually chop it with, and it just chops right off with no damage to that blade whatsoever. Like I said, I've used this ganzo at work. I've chopped wire with it. I have opened up boxes with it. I have cut to pieces, I would say at least 20 to 30 boxes at work. And this knife, I've not sharpened it, and it is just a trooper. That's those knives.